Hi friends, welcome back to the Southern Homestead. I am here in the garden and everything is coming up and blooming and looking lovely. And I actually am going to be able to harvest a couple of strawberries this morning.
Oh, it's a wondrous life, living off the land, what God has provided. Oh, it's a beautiful thing on this ground we tread at the Bala Chitto Homestead. The Bala Chitto Homestead.
So I thought I'd just take you on a little walkthrough and show you everything that's coming up and blooming in the raised garden beds today. Remember that experiment that I was doing in my mint bed here that I sectioned off? Well, so far so good. So far that I can tell, nothing has ventured into the other side of the garden bed. So here I have all of my lemon balm, and then I've got some spearmint, some sweet mint, and some peppermint, and then some chocolate mint, and then my apple mint is here as well that I grew from seed. And just on the other side of that barrier that we put up is my calendula, which is looking amazing. Lots of blooms there for the pollinators. And then I also have my chamomile, which is also in full bloom. I need to come through and pop the tops off so they'll keep blooming for me. And then I can dry the herbs and use for tea and medicinal purposes. And I've got some more zinnias here and some sage right there in the middle. I have some snapdragons, but those take a very long time to bloom. And I started these from seed. And then we have the echinacea that I started from seed, and it's starting to pop up. Looking good. I think I have about 6 or 8 of those plants. And then of course, you can't have an herb garden without rosemary and thyme and lavender. And the lavender is blooming. You can see right there. So remember those carrots that I've been babying and praying that they make it through all the bad weather we've been having? Well, here they are. As you can see, there's a row of them here, and then another row on the other side. I've already thinned them out and they're getting quite tall. Also in this bed I have some zinnias and some, let's see what else I have in here. I have some marigolds in there, and then I have a few herbs that I put in here. I put some parsley in, and I put some oregano on the far side over there. I also threw a couple of cayenne peppers in here. They're looking great. And here I've got a zinnia that's just about to bloom. And that's in the bed with some of my tomatoes, my determinate tomatoes. And back behind me in this bed here, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it on camera or not, but our second year asparagus is growing in the bed here. I transplanted them in shortly after the bed was completed. We're just going to allow the asparagus to come up and fern out. And then sometime in the fall, we'll go ahead and cut them down. And then next year, we'll be able to harvest the asparagus. And in the row garden here behind me, we have our indeterminate tomatoes. And we'll be getting ready to stake those up this weekend because they're going to get very, very tall. They're definitely going to need some support. But they're looking quite lovely. And I've already watered everything this morning. I try to water early in the morning, and then that way the leaves, if they get wet, have a chance to dry out and they're not sitting in water. So after yet another rain delay, Mike and I are back at it again. We are going to start putting together the trellising system for a lot of our plants. And we're going to take you along step by step as we do that. I've got Michael. He is going to be cutting down some of our rebar that we have to help anchor the cattle panels that we're going to be using in this trellising. So the plan is to have trellising available for certain plants that are going into the garden. And one of them being our cucumbers, and the other is our loofah plant. And actually, we're going to have several loofah plants. And then we're also going to plant a variety of beans that require trellising. And our honey nut, butternut squash. And those are pretty small, so they should do well on the trellising. And then also our miniature pumpkins that will be used for pumpkin pie filling. That's our goal. And if the rain will give us a break, we might get that done today. It's already starting to sprinkle again, so we'll see how much we get done. So while we still have some time, Michael is setting up our sprinkler system, and he's kind of retrofitted a sprinkler head into a PVC pipe, which is going to sit down over a fence T-post.
My last one I did was like 10 years ago, was actually an 8-foot PVC pipe, but since Tammy's so short, she can't really reach up to it. So I just made some hacksaw cuts here. This head fit down in there really tight. We're gonna put it right here. Hook the hose up to it, and I'll put one on the other corner, and they'll crisscross, and it'll cover this whole area.
Well, friends, it looks like we're going to be pushed out because of the rain. It's moving back in. There's thunder in the background, and it's starting to drizzle again. So we may have to pick this back up tomorrow.